A time to be born, a time to die, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to love, a time to tear, a time to sow, a time to be quiet, a time to speak, a time to keep, a time to throw away. The list goes on, and as I read this, I got to thinking, what about if it's only my associations with any of these words that makes them either positive or negative? What about if they could be both? For example, keeping and throwing away. Immediately I think keeping is positive, throwing away is negative. But then I thought, what about if I'm keeping things that are good, things that are noble, things that help me grow, that make me a better person? Then keeping is a good thing. At the same time, if I'm keeping things that are harming my body or my spirit, if I'm keeping bad habits, even if I'm keeping the company of people who are constantly negative, then keeping is definitely not a positive thing. Life is one and the other. I mean, let's face it, we can't always be breaking things down or keeping, sewing and laughing. We need times when we can throw things away, times when we choose to be silent rather than speak, times when we weep. I mean, life is messy, and this passage in Ecclesiastes portrays life as it truly is. What time are you in at the moment? What phase? Does it seem more of a positive one or a negative one? And if it seems more negative, how could you flip it around to make it ultimately positive? I remember being in the weeping phase. It hurt a lot. It was excruciating, and I wanted to skip past that phase and just move on to the next bit, move on to the laughing bit. I actually didn't even want to be there in the first place, but well, like everyone else, my instinct was to run, to numb it up, to just get rid of it as quickly as possible. But ignoring it, pretending that I wasn't in that phase, didn't change anything. I needed to accept where I was and to weep for the things that I needed to, and to learn something from that phase before I could move on. At the end of that list, God says that He makes everything beautiful in its time. And I had to trust that when the right time came, that change would come, that it would be real and deep and lasting. And it did. It came. So whatever you're going through at the moment, whichever phase you might be in, remember life is one and the other. And most often it depends on our point of view, whether it's positive or negative. Even the most horrible thing can be flipped into something beautiful. Whether you're weeping or laughing, whether you're keeping or throwing away, the question is, what are you learning?